I'd like to call the Monday, April 6, 2026 Oakwood City Council meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me with the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a roll call, please, Lori?
Mayor Duncan?
Here.
Vice Mayor Byington?
Here.
Mrs. Turbin?
Here.
Mrs. Jackson?
Here.
Mr. Dorff?
Here.
And may I have a report on our minutes of our March 2, 2026 regular session and work session, our March 4th executive session, and our March 16 work session and executive session. Councilmember Dorff.
I reviewed all of the minutes. They are correct, and I recommend approving the minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So ordered. Under status reports, I have several proclamations that I would like to describe to our citizens and all the crowd that's here in a fully loaded council chambers tonight. We welcome all of you. And my first proclamation is recognizing the month of April as Fair Housing Month. Whereas on April 11, 2026 marks the 58th anniversary of the passage of the Federal Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, which enunciated a national policy of fair housing without regard to race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familiar status, or disability, and encourages equal housing opportunities and residential integration for all citizens. Whereas the principle of fair housing excuse me, is not only law, but a basic human necessity and an inalienable right inscribed in the Constitution of the state of Ohio. Whereas the Miami Valley Fair Housing Center is engaged in passionately pursuing its mission to eliminate housing discrimination in the Miami Valley, the state of Ohio, and nationally. Whereas the Miami Valley Fair Housing Center has been recognized regionally, statewide, and nationally for its creativity and effectiveness in pursuing its mission. And whereas the Miami Valley Fair Housing Center and Dayton Realtors are committed to continuing to address housing discrimination in the Miami Valley, and whereas April is traditionally designated as Fair Housing Month by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and locally we are commemorating Fair Housing Month with the theme, Open Housing, Still a Promise, the door to choice must stay open, in order to highlight the Fair Housing Act, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, and the rights and responsibilities embodied therein. Now therefore, under the power vested in me, I, William D. Duncan, Mayor of the City of Oakwood, in commemoration of the 58th anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act, do hereby urge all citizens to understand and exercise their right to equal housing opportunity and proclaim the month of April 2026 as Fair Housing Month. And then I have a second proclamation, and this one is to recognize the week of April 20th, 2026 as Arbor Week. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and is observed in the state of Ohio on the last Friday in April. Whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, reduce heating and cooling cost, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, paper, comma, wood for our homes, and fuel for our fires and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Whereas trees, wherever they're planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Whereas the city of Oakwood has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for the 44th consecutive year and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore, by the power vested in me, I, William D. Duncan, Mayor of the City of Oakwood, do hereby proclaim the week of April 20, 2026 as Arbor Week in the City of Oakwood, and I urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry program. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. Thank you for letting me read that. And now the proclamation that I think most of you have come to hear, recognizing April 19th through April 25th, 2026 as National Library Week. Whereas today's libraries are not just about books, but what they do for and with people. And whereas libraries of all types are at the heart of cities, towns, schools, and campuses. And whereas libraries and librarians empower their community to make informed decisions by providing free access to information. And whereas libraries and librarians build strong communities through transformative services, programs, and expertise. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions where people of all backgrounds can be together and connect. And whereas libraries, which promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all, are cornerstones of democracy. Whereas libraries promote civic engagement by keeping people informed and aware of community events and issues. Whereas librarians and library workers partner with other civic organizations to make sure their community's needs are being met. And whereas libraries are a resource for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status, by offering services and educational resources that transform lives and strengthen communities. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now therefore, under the power vested in me, I, William D. Duncan, Mayor of the City of Oakwood, hereby proclaim April 19 through April 25, 2026 as National Library Week, and encourage all residents to visit Wright Memorial Public Library this week to leave a note on the community board and take advantage of all that the library has to offer. And with that, I believe, do we have a representative from the library that wishes to address City Council? We do. Come on down and state your name and address for the record, and we welcome you.
My name is Kelly Klinghauser. I reside at 760 Murrell in Kettering, but I am here on behalf of Wright Library, 1776 Far Hills Avenue. On behalf of Wright Memorial Public Library, I'd like to thank Mayor Duncan and City Council for this proclamation commemorating National Library Week in Oakwood. The 2026 theme of Find Your Joy perfectly captures what we see every day at Wright Library. Joy is a child discovering their favorite book for the first time. It's a teen finding a quiet place to study and dream big. It's a neighbor learning a new skill from our library of things, attending a thought-provoking program, or simply reconnecting with the pleasure of reading. We see the smiles, the curiosity, and the connections that happen here, and that is what inspires us every day. Libraries are one of the few places where everyone is welcome and everyone can find something that sparks joy. Our librarians, staff, and our library ambassadors, which are here today, are all very deeply proud and represent Wright Library. We encourage all of you to join us and experience what brings you joy, whether it's learning something new, gathering with friends, or finding that escape from your busy day. The joy found at Wright Library is rooted in our shared values of community and curiosity, not only during National Library Week, but every day. As the mayor said, please join us between April 19th and 25th. We will have joy tables throughout the library. We would love to hear what brings you joy. And on behalf of all of us from Wright Library, including our library ambassadors, thank you for recognizing National Library Week.
Thank you. What would give me joy is I could get all of the ambassadors to come up to the front here, and I have a copy of the proclamation that I would like to personally deliver to you as well. So if you can come on up, and perhaps our photographer sitting in the back might have a camera with him. How many of you are in third grade? Have you come here to see the mayor and find out what city council does? You see our temporary holding facility also. And she got out.
Mayor Duncan, may I say one thing
Please.
before they leave? I just really want to congratulate all of these library ambassadors. They're already contributing to our community in such a remarkable way. And I also commend their parents, because what your children are involved in, you're involved in, and what better example of getting them in touch with an institution that is all about lifelong learning. So, and one last comment is to recognize that this community has a director of the library, Christy Hale, who's just a yes person. You take an idea to her, and her first reaction is, yes, let's look into it. And I think that's remarkable.
Indeed.
So thank you, Mayor.
Okay. And again, thank you all for coming. We've got a great meeting here. You can stay till the very end if you want.
Hopefully you brought a book.
But there is a basketball game on tonight. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Thank you for coming. I just had one quick status report. We update. We have a vacancy on our BRC in Precinct H. And Ann Neer Smith has agreed to serve on our board, and so I would make a motion that we appoint her at tonight's meeting. Our next BRC meeting is in the middle of May. So do I have a second for that?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So now it's time for our visitors section, and this is where anybody can come up to City Council, to the podium and state their name and address for the record. And if you want to give any comments to the city, if there's things you think we need to be aware of, this would be your time to do that at this time. It's your big chance. No? Okay. All right. Well, then we'll conclude our visitor section and then go to legislation. And I have a resolution, or I don't have it. Councilmember Jackson has a resolution she'd like to introduce.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a resolution declaring the necessity of improving certain streets between certain termini in the city of Oakwood, Ohio, by lighting the same with electricity. This is an annual resolution that is the first step of our 2027 street lighting program. We are required by law to pass several pieces of legislation to provide street lighting each year. The first is this resolution declaring the necessity of street lighting throughout the city. I will also be introducing the second piece, the ordinance to proceed for the project. And the third piece, the ordinance to assess costs. But this will be the first reading of those ordinances, and we will not vote on them until our May meeting. I move that council adopt this resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions for Councilmember Jackson? Hearing none, Lori, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Duncan?
Yes?
Vice Mayor Byington?
Yes.
Mrs. Turbin?
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Dorf?
Yes.
All right. And then do you want to, you need to introduce your two ordinances now, correct?
Correct.
All right.
So my next ordinance is an ordinance determining to proceed with the improvements of certain streets between certain termini in the city of Oakwood, Ohio, by lighting the same with electricity. This is an annual ordinance that is the second step of our 2027 street lighting program. It is the ordinance that authorizes the city to proceed with the project. So my motion is, this is the first reading of this ordinance, so I make no motion at this time.
Thank you.
And my third ordinance is an ordinance levying special assessments for the improvement of certain streets between certain termini in the city of Oakwood, Ohio, by lighting the same with electricity. This is the third and final step of our 2027 street lighting program. It allows for the cost of street lighting to be certified to the Montgomery County Auditor for assessment. This is the first reading of this ordinance, so I make no motion at this time.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you next month. And then we also have a resolution to be introduced by Councilmember Dorf.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a resolution declaring the necessity of repairing sidewalks and appurtenances thereto on certain streets between certain termini in the city of Oakwood, Ohio, and providing that abutting property owners repair the same. This is an annual resolution that is the first step of our 2026 sidewalk, curb, and driveway apron project. This year's program area covers work zones 2 and 3, which include all city streets within the area bound by Greenmount Boulevard to the north, Monterey Avenue to the south and between but not including, Schroyer Road to the east, and Far Hills Avenue to the west. We're required by law to pass 3 pieces of legislation in order to carry out this program and assess the sidewalk costs. The first piece is this resolution, which declares the necessity of sidewalk repairs in these zones. I'll also, just wait for it, be introducing the second piece, the ordinance to proceed for the project. After the project concludes, there'll be a third piece of legislation, an ordinance to levy assessments for certain sidewalk costs. So I move that the council adopt this resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any questions or comments for Councilmember Dorf? Hearing none. Lori, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Duncan?
Yes?
Vice Mayor Byington?
Yes.
Mrs. Turbin?
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Dorf?
Yes.
Thank you. And I believe you have an ordinance.
I got another one.
Got
So
another
this is
one.
an ordinance determining to proceed with the repairing of sidewalks and appurtenances thereto on certain streets between certain termini in the city of Oakwood, Ohio, known as Zones 2 and 3, and providing that abutting property owners repair the same. So this is an annual ordinance. That's the second step of our 2026 sidewalk, curb, and driveway apron project. Again, this year's program area covers zones 2 and 3, which include all city streets within the area bounded by Greenmont Boulevard to the north, Monterey Avenue to the south, and between, but not including, Schroyer Road to the east and Far Hills Avenue to the west. And this is the first reading of this ordinance, so there's no motion to be made at this time.
Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing that next month as well. And then finally, Vice Mayor Byington has a resolution.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a resolution by the Council of the City of Oakwood declaring the necessity of a renewal levy in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting the county auditor to certify the total current tax valuation of the City of Oakwood and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a specific number of mills. That's a very long title for something that basically is a resolution to begin the process of renewing our city's 2.72 mil property tax levy. The levy was first approved by Oakwood voters in 1991 and has been renewed every 5 years thereafter. It currently is due to expire at the end of 2026. This resolution is the first legislative step towards placing the renewal on the ballot in November. The second piece of the legislation will be on the agenda for Council's meeting in May. It is important to note that this is a renewal, that it is not a new levy. It will maintain the current level of property taxation and will not increase property taxes. I move the Council adopt the resolution tonight.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions for Vice Mayor Byington? Hearing none, Lori, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Duncan?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Byington?
Yes.
Mrs. Turbin?
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Dorf?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes our legislation this evening. We do have a staff report from our Public Works Department, and Doug Spittler is here to deliver that report to council, and we welcome you, Doug.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's an honor to be here tonight, giving you an update on our new and improved Public Works Department. Starting off with a few park items of our agenda. We're going to start with the Park Master Plan. We talked to Council about the importance of replacing some equipment at a couple of our parks. Those two parks are highest used parks, Schaefer Park and Orchardly Park. And instead of just replacing equipment, we decided to do more of a master plan to make sure that we're doing what the community wants in replacing equipment that is very costly for the right users. So we started back in the fall of 2025 last year. We're working with a consultant, Bayer Becker, out of Mason, Ohio. They're currently looking at design alternatives that they'll present to us in May, and we're looking for completion sometime around August. We will be doing an open house with the community to show them the alternatives, as well as a formal presentation to council when the project is complete. Just a quick note here, they use drone technology for these two photos. They were taken in the wintertime, just right after our Christmas tree was placed, because I can see that in the right photo, but this is the first time I've ever seen them use a drone technology. So it is not a survey grade image, it's just a planning grade image, but it was pretty cool for them to use drones for their aerial work. We're also currently working with Oakwood United, the soccer club at the Old River, to evaluate the condition of the fields. Those fields get a lot of use April through November. We're working with Field Source Ohio. They're a consultant that does work out of Columbus, Ohio. One of their nearest clients is the University of Dayton. They do work for the University of Dayton and a lot of communities and park districts around. We're looking at the evaluation of the fields and the use to try to make sure our field conditions are in optimal condition. They are going to be looking at different levels of good, better, or best options. All those options do come with a cost, as well as maintenance costs, so they'll be looking at the different options, and then we're going to be working with Oakwood United to come up with a plan going forward. The next two slides are new contracts that we have. While they're very simple contracts, we know that working with new contractors and vendors will take a little getting used to, both us to them and them to us. The first contract is our tree trimming contract. It's very important. It is highly used. We just bid this service earlier this spring. The contractor that was selected is MBI. They're a local company out of Xenia, Ohio. We will use them obviously for emergency situations. We have not had one of those yet. Routine trimming that we identify. They do have an arborist on staff, and we'll be relying on that arborist to help us out with evaluations. We get quite a few of those questions and concerns from citizens, so we're working through their staff to help us with arborist duties, and they're also able to perform treatments such as an EAB treatment or any fungicide treatments on the trees. The next contract is mowing and aerating. Previously, we were doing some work in-house, and last year we started using a contract service, and this year we bid that service. We have selected Grunder Landscaping Company, a local company. We do have a performance specification, and what I mean by that is we don't tell them to mow on certain days of the week because it could need more often or it could mean a little less. So we use a height, and not to mow before and not to mow or not to let it get too tall. We have detailed maps of the parcel locations that were put together by in-house staff. We'll still do some mowing with in-house staff at certain locations around, including our parks, in some ancillary areas that we felt were aligned with our parks and close in proximity to our parks. And then we also have them on an as-needed basis for abatement mowing. So if we get the high grass or weed notifications and we're not able to do that in-house, we will have them on contract to be able to help us in-house with that if needed. We're currently underway with our fire hydrant flushing. We're on the west side of Far Hills. We'll continue there through April the 10th. Then we'll move in sections on the east side of Far Hills, April 13th through the 29th. And then we'll actually finish on Far Hills ending on May 1. You may see places that look wet or used around town, and they'll be grouped in areas, and that's simply our fire hydrant flushing program. We do this once annually. And just some reminders about our refuse and recycling options besides the backdoor collection service that we offer. We have our 24/7, 365 drop-off facility at the Public Works Center. It's at the entrance. It's available all hours of the day. And we offer it for cardboard. We offer it for commingled recycling, which includes the hefty orange Renew bags and yard debris. We also have, and we just had this last weekend, our monthly self-dumping at the Public Works Yard, so folks can bring in items to dump the first Saturday of every month from 8 to noon. And then this time of year it gets very popular for free dumpsters. Actually, free is only if you have green waste. It has to be green waste only. There is a fee for household remodeling debris, which folks do take advantage of. It's $115 plus the weight of those items. Another very popular program, we started getting calls in February for this, is the leaf mulch. And this is our free leaf mulch. It's free if you do self-service, but it is available for $100 for 3 cubic yards or $150 for 6 cubic yards if you want us to haul it to your house. We do schedule those on every Saturday from April 18th through May the 16th. Styrofoam recycling. The next event is on Saturday, April the 18th. The event through the county is at the Rose Music Center. Green Oakwood operates a small delivery service at our recycle center from 9 to 11:30 that day to make it more convenient for residents to use so they don't have to go to the different centers. And this one's pretty far away. Another option that's coming up on April the 18th is the Oakwood Rotary Household Hazardous Waste Collection. All the items you see here are considered household hazardous waste, should not be disposed of in your regular trash. The items like batteries and pesticides, fertilizers, chemicals, vehicle fluids can all be picked up by the Rotary. Again, you can or you can call 937-296-5155 for an automated line. Leave your information, and the Rotary Club will come by and pick those up. I like this picture to show, just to remind council and anyone watching how we collect our refuse and recycling. I've kept this quote in here because I thought it was really pretty neat quote. It was from a new resident. It was a letter to the editor back in August of 2023, and they called it the Innovative Refuse Removal System. I couldn't agree more. So unfortunately, I don't have a picture of the side of the picture on the right, which is our mini truck. They've been very reliable for us, but that's a picture of the hopper raised. As you can see, the refuse goes on the left side, and there is a divider right in between those arrows. It's kind of black, it's horizontal. The recycling goes on that side. And then our packer truck is on the left. It's actually two packers. If you see the arrows, those are two different packing mechanisms. And so when the scooter backs up to that, the recycle goes on, matches up to the recycle side, refuse matches up to the refuse side. So that's how we collect the refuse and recycling here. And then when we dispose, we actually go to two different locations. We go to the Montgomery County Transfer Station for the refuse, and then we also go to Rumpke and on Monument Street for the recycling. And this is a result. The spaghetti chart is a result of all that. This is just refuse. So I've always liked this chart, and there's a lot of data on here, and don't worry so much about it, but what I would tell you is 2 points to take away. We use haul tickets to get this data, so this is very reliable data. When we go to the scale, we get a ticket, so we know how much refuse we are disposing of. Other items like the yard waste, we have to estimate. But the refuse and recycling, we get haul tickets. So once we get the haul tickets, we have very good and reliable data. It's very close on the trending. We know how much to budget. So we know how many resources to put out there, and we know how much to budget to make sure we get the job done. And down at the bottom of the chart then, I'm just expanding the average, 11-year average. There's nothing magical to it. It's just how long we've been collecting really good, accurate data. Our annual average refuse collection is 3,458 tons. In 2026, the price increased 65 cents to $38.90 per ton. And then likewise, the recycling is not on this chart, but we recycle typically 548 tons, again, 11-year average, and the processing price remains unchanged from Rumpke at $35 per ton. One more chart. This is our cardboard collection, and this is strictly from the dumpsters at our recycle center. This is not anything that comes out of households or any other place. This is what can be separated. And in 2022, we started receiving some market-based revenue for cardboard. And in 24, we received about $9,700. In 25, we received $14,500. You can see our trend is still going up. I'm kind of anxious to see how high it will actually go before it plateaus, but pretty big jump from 24 to 25, but it's been steadily increasing. And if you've ever been down there on the weekends, you know that it's heavily used, and it's heavily used not just for the weekends, but it gets really full on the weekends. Sewer cleaning, this is a picture of not a sewer cleaning piece of equipment, this is our sewer camera. So inside the trailer we have equipment to put a camera down in the sewer if we need to do inspections. It's very useful for us. We have about 40 miles of underground sanitary sewer lines. Our goal is to clean the entire city in 3 years, and we're right on track to do that. We have one crew of 2 guys that's dedicated to doing that. What it also allows us to do is to go out and proactively check some trouble spots. So there's several places around town where they're in a siphon or there's a larger grease load, more roots, and they can go out and proactively troubleshoot those spots so we don't have any backups. In our winter operations, which I hope to say is complete this year, and I actually see that I should have put November on there because it was November 10th last year when we started. So this is for a season. This would not be 25 or 26. It's combined. So when we started in November of last year through March of this year, we used 1,021 tons, which is slightly more than our average. Right now we have about 400 tons in storage. Our current salt cost is the $73.97 per ton, and that will run out this July. It will be rebid. It's through a cooperative purchasing program that we participate with called SWAP 4G. They will be getting bids for salt, and I would guess that it's probably going to go up with the amount that was used. And just so you can see the volatility of that market, it was a high of 2 years ago, almost $92 down to $54 4 years ago. So I think with the usage, it will probably be going up a little bit. And I think that's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead.
I have a question.
Okay.
And are Oakwood residents good recyclers, would you say? How do they compare?
Excellent recyclers, yes. We've been recycling, I think we were the first in the county to do it in 1988, I believe it was, to offer a recycling program. And when we talk to the county, we have very clean, so I guess let's qualify it. The volume, it's higher than average, so per house, per person volume is higher, but also the cleanliness of it. The stream, it's very clean stream. So people take it very, very passionately here. So yes, they're very good recyclers.
I serve on the Solid Waste Advisory Council as the mayor's and manager's representative, and we are known throughout Montgomery County as the best recycling community in the area. And just as an aside, this Thursday, City Manager Smitty and I are going on a trip to the new recycling center that Rumpke has built in Columbus, Ohio. It cost $200 million for this state-of-the-art recycling center. And our current trash in Montgomery County goes to the Rumpke facility down in Colerain Township? Yeah. Colerain Township, just north side of Cincinnati. And so we're really excited about our recycling commitment in Oakwood. So I think that's a testament to all of our citizens on that. But again, as you can see, we buy more cardboard in Oakwood, I think, than anywhere in Montgomery County. And but despite all that, we only get $15,000 a year, and all the recycling, we lose money. You lose money on all the rest of the recycling, but you don't lose as much, and you're helping extend the useful life of the landfills. And the county has a plan. I believe their goal is they want to always have at least a 20-year supply before the landfill would fill up, and that's what they're doing down at the Solid Waste District for Montgomery County. How'd I do on that? Is that right? Okay. Okay. I attend the meetings. Okay. Yes, Sam?
Yeah, no, I had, I think, one or two quick ones. One was, you mentioned an open house.
Yes.
Do you have a date for that? Or?
We don't yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we will definitely publish that because we want people to attend. So it'll definitely be something that will be front and center.
Can't wait. And then in regards to the Old River facilities, you were mentioning the study that's going on. I was just wondering if you can talk a little bit about how other communities, might pay for the maintenance of certain fields like that.
So we started talking when we were doing the study, and one of our staff members looked into that. We do have a little bit of a different model. It looks like a lot of the communities, especially the ones we get compared to, the big ones, Ankeny and those facilities, a lot of the park district or the cities own the facilities, and they will do basic mowing and trimming. We're seeing a lot of them do not do the striping or the major maintenance on it. So we're looking into that too. Again, it's cost. What can we cost, and what are we going to afford, or what can we afford and do? So we did notice that.
Great.
Any other questions for?
Just one. You said that MBI Tree Services had an arborist on staff. Is that something that residents can have access to, or is that something that they care for the city-owned trees?
It's for city-owned trees in the right-of-way. Yeah. At this time, it's just for right-of-way trees. So if something is in basically from the sidewalk to the sidewalk, or city-owned property, that's what they would be contracted by us to do. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to express my appreciation for all the work that the city did in the largest snow event since what they call it, Snowmageddon, but also the recent wind event that appeared to be a stick and branch event. We didn't lose a large number of trees, but there were sticks everywhere. And most of those from my driving around town appear to have already been collected, and they're in the recycle pile, I think, to go turn into brush and branch pickup. So appreciate all the,
Thank you. I'll pass that
and
along.
just watching the way the crews go about picking those things up with their front end loaders and dump trucks. I mean, they know what they're doing. So
They do.
kudos to all your staff for that as
Thank
well.
you. I'll pass that along.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
It is now time for our city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have quite a few updates today. I promise to be brief. So as Doug alluded to, we recently completed an RFP for mowing and aeration services, and the successful bidder was Grunder Landscaping. So as part of that contract agreement, we are able to sit down and do a performance audit after our first year, and the contract also has provisions in there that will enable us to extend the contract an additional 3 years, assuming they meet all the metrics and the beautification needs of the city. So we're very much looking forward to working with Grunder and continuing all of our efforts in beautification and mowing throughout the city. I'm also happy to share that we've received the 2025 Tree City USA designation, marking the 44th time the city has received this recognition. So I just wanted to say congratulations to our staff and our beautification committee members, because they also play a vital role in making sure we meet all the requirements to earn this designation. This recognition does reflect all of the behind-the-scenes work that it takes to preserve the overall community environment. So thanks to everyone who participated in us obtaining that award. It's very exciting. The annual perennial sale is going to take place on Friday, April 17th and Saturday, April 18th. This annual event enables residents to purchase a wide variety of plants and support some community programming. So we have some volunteer opportunities, so anyone that's interested in helping us out with that event, please check the website for additional opportunities to help us with that annual event. I want to extend my sincere appreciation to our public service or our public safety department for their planning and collaboration efforts regarding the UD celebration and the St. Patrick's Day. Our safety department did a lot of advanced collaboration with UD, their police department, and the City of Dayton Police Department as well, to make sure that our residents in that North End area were able to enjoy that day, March 28th, and it made a significant impact and difference for our community members. So we were able to keep all of our residents safe and the students as well. So my hat's off to all of them. I, like most city council, probably was checking their email, because when this occurred last year, I came into a whole host of emails and unpleasantries. So kudos to our public safety team for coordinating those efforts and making that, making some sense out of the chaos that had ensued in previous years. So I also want to just lastly mention that we were pleased to welcome more than 30 families at our new resident breakfast, which was held on Saturday, March 14th. And that event continues to be a great opportunity for us to connect with members of our community, highlight many of our community partnerships, and be a great way to get information out about our city services. So thank you to staff, to City Council, and our community partners for making that event such a success. That's it. Thanks, Mayor.
Any questions for our city manager? All right, hearing none, we'll move to council comments, and we'll start with Councilmember Dorff.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to echo the mayor's praise for our librarians. In my day job, librarians are critical to allow me to do what I do, and it's great to see the ways in which our public library serves our community. I also want to share praise for Public Works. I read recently about Public Works and the city receiving a grant from Ohio EPA to improve winter road treatment that would lower waste, lower costs, and minimize runoff. So just congratulations on winning that Ohio EPA grant and helping taking great care of our community and our resources.
Thank you. Councilmember Jackson?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to mention the Oakwood Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 107. It hosted its annual Easter parade along Schaefer Boulevard this past Saturday. The Easter Bunny rode engine 27, and many volunteers distributed 6,000 eggs to children along the route. Now, 5 of my visiting grandchildren were totally taken by the experience. It was high excitement, and they think that their grandmother lives in the greatest city in the world. That's a quote, and I couldn't agree more. Where else do public safety officers volunteer their time to put on a local Easter event? What other city has residents who attend a 12-week citizen police academy and then continue to help the public safety department execute its special projects, such as the Easter egg parade? And I also want to mention gratitude to the public safety officers who covered St. Patrick's event down at UD, because again, this was sort of a win-win situation for the city, for our residents, and for UD.
Thank you. Councilmember Turbin?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Well, as Katie mentioned and Healy mentioned, we had a very safe and peaceful St. Patrick's Day celebration at UD. And I just wanted to thank everyone that made this all possible and making it a non-event for us here in Oakwood. And I think what pleased me most, and Katie mentioned this, is that was the collaboration and the cooperation between UD and the city. I mean, that's really what made it all so possible. And I have several comments from some of the residents, and I wanted to pass them along. The first one was from a resident on Volusia, and she says, "Lee, 3 exclamation marks. The outcome was fantastic. 3 exclamation marks. It worked perfectly, and there were 0 disturbances here. And the way they blocked the streets was great. Usually during a big UD event, weekend parking here becomes a nightmare. So it was so nice not have to worry about any of that. We are so very pleased." And this came from a residence on Shantz. Now, you know, as they move into Oakwood, Shantz is the next stopping point. And what he said is, "We truly appreciated the efforts of Oakwood, UD, and Dayton to control the recent St. Patrick's Day parties. It went really well. Thank you." And then the last one I wanted to read came into Chief Hill. And he said, "Dear Chief Hill, having endured over 4 decades of St. Patrick's Day at University of Dayton, I want to sincerely thank you, underlined, for all of the Oakwood police officers for your great effort last Saturday in keeping us safe and calm. Much appreciation." And so our efforts were both recognized and appreciated. So thanks to everyone.
Vice Mayor Byington?
I'd like to thank our library ambassadors for showing up at the meeting this evening, particularly the young lady who's managed to stay for the entire thing. Actually, you know, our meetings are usually not this boring, but we appreciate you staying through most of it. I also wanted to say that having them here reminded me just how important the library is. I thought about the very first book I checked out. I don't know if Runaway Ralph is still a thing with the kids these days, but that was 50-something years ago that I checked that book out, and I'm actually going to go get it again just to read it again.
Did you return it?
I'll plead the fifth on that one. But it's a fantastic book. Continue your lifelong learning, you know, and I love the fact that you're still participating in this and listening to us. It just shows me how great our library system is and how much we encourage the kids to learn and find out more about all the things going on. And I'm really excited about Runaway Ralph for some reason. And speaking of rodents, I did want to say, usually I talk about all things Oakwood, but I wanted to congratulate my friend up north, Mayor Gore from the Huber Heights. Today was the grand opening of Bucky's, the other rodent. And I know that he was very excited. Our friends in Huber Heights put in a lot of work into getting that establishment set up there, and I wish them all the best of luck with that endeavor. As a Texas boy, Buc-ee's has been part of my life for a long time, and I'm glad to see one up here. So
Great. And without trying to take away from our recycling of that styrofoam event, you could drive up to the Rose and recycle your styrofoam and then go just less than a half a mile, maybe not even that,
the brisket sandwiches are worth it.
to go to Buc-ee's, and you can do a good deed and then reward yourself for doing a good deed. I have no additional comments other than to say our next regularly scheduled meeting will be May 4th, 2006, and the young lady in the front row gets extra credit if you show up.
That's asking too much.
We're adjourned. We are adjourned.